today we got to play Forestry. Now this game is all about getting wood and building things. But before we get into it, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and that notification bell because board games are amazing, and that's what we do here at Legends of Nirvana. Now, Robert, can you tell us a little bit more about Forestry?
Sure. So, 2025 release. Overall rank is 4,120 with an individual rating of 7.7. Plays 1 to 4 people in 70 to 120 minutes, which is pretty accurate. Took us a while. For ages 13 and up. Designed by Michael Pichal, I believe is how you pronounce it, and art by Michael Resnick. Published by Pink Troubadour Games. MSRP is $69.95. Yeah, I did find it a little bit cheaper at Card House at $56.99. The cheapest was a company I never heard of, Black Panther Sports. They had it for $44.98.
Okay.
And then Cloak and Gamer had it for $55.96.
Okay, all right. So let's talk about the quality of components. There are a lot of cardboard chits. There are a lot of wooden bits. Overall, there is some screen printed.
Yeah, they do screen print a lot of the wooden bits.
They do.
Of course, we got a defective copy where we've got 2 brown harvesters, and we should have gotten a cream-colored one. But,
that's, kind of your fault.
Yeah, anytime I get it,
yes,
so the cards have a minor linen finish, not a very heavy one. And then neither does the cardboard. So we're not looking. I mean, it's not bad, but it's not great either.
Right.
So I'm
probably get a lot of it.
You do get a lot of it, so I'm probably going to give this a 6.5 to 7. There are screen printed bits to it and things like that, but nothing truly outstanding. What are your guys' thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, the player boards are not inlaid, but they're nice. I mean, they fold over and they've got 2 sides depending on whether you're playing a standard, what they call the tutorial game, and then they also have the standard game, which actually has variable player powers, and you can add on auxiliary boards that give you different actions when you use the gear actions. And they're 2-sided, so you can play there's a lot of ways to play this game, and I like that. As far as the components, the screen printing is really what makes it a 7, I think. Apart from that, I don't think there's anything that great about it. The central board is almost Catan-esque. So yeah, I think 7 is probably where I am because of the screen printed boards and the screen printed tokens and the player boards.
I think I'm a 7 as well for the same reasons. The screen printing. Wish it was a little bit more across the board as far as the overall quality, but yeah, 7's good.
Yeah. All right, so moving on to the actual theme, you are responsible for building these beautiful pieces because that is, what your quest cards are. However, at the same time, so you're having to, you chop down certain trees, but then you have to plant the trees
it's
to
all
come
about
back.
maintaining the harmony of the wood, and it's interesting because the cards all have attributes of the product you're building on them. The Rulebook has a lot about the true, how they handle the reforesting and all of that. So there's a lot of, there's a lot of theme in just learning about how wood is being handled all throughout.
Yeah, and then when you talk about artwork, I think the artwork is okay, but we've seen a lot of forest games, and that the artwork is absolutely breathtaking. So the artwork's good. It's not as breathtaking as some of the other games I can think about when we talk about these
I think
games.
the artwork is really good, actually, because a lot of these contracts, they're fairly unique, and so that's a lot of artwork, and the artwork in of itself is really good artwork. It's not like AI, they look like a lot of it's hand-painted pieces of art, which is really nice. I'm sure it was done digitally, but it doesn't look like it. So I think the artwork is really good.
So what would you score it for theme then?
I think the mechanics fit the theme really, really well. So I think I'm an 8 actually.
Okay. I maybe I just wasn't feeling it as much as you. I'm probably going to go for a 7. But yeah, what about you?
I think I'm an 8 mainly because I'm the one that read the rulebook and saw all almost every page you're on has a big blurb about that section and talking about how it pertains to the forest.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, when you taught me, I was asleep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I was sitting there.
Both times.
Both. Hey, this morning I was awake. All right, so moving on to the rule book, Randy, you obviously just mentioned that there was a bunch of, thematic what was going on in the forest, but what else did you find in there?
So it's 32 pages in length. It's got a nice feel to it. It's not quite that really nice, almost plastic feel, but it's a good cover.
Okay.
And all the pages feel like there's no like linen finish to them, but they feel coated. This is not a book that you're gonna have warping or smudging with fingerprints and such. You've got all the components pictured really nicely. Again, every time you see the light green sections, that's talking about the forestry section, and almost every page has it on them. So there's a lot in here about the forestry. So the rule book's actually an easy read as far as reading through. Setup takes a little bit of time because you're setting up the main board, you're setting up the player boards, but it actually, once you get it set up the first time, it's pretty intuitive. Other than player count does affect
I agree with that
a little bit. The gameplay, it walks you kind of through the overview of what your player board does and how the game board works, and then after that it goes straight into all the different actions, which the cheat sheet cards, they only gave you 2 of them. That's my big complaint about it. There should be 4.
yeah
I hate when they do that, to give you half of what you need. I mean, it's okay, you don't really have to, in this case you can share pretty easily.
This would have been useful, actually, had I known that this existed.
Oh yeah,
You had it, so I didn't really get
between us. I had it sitting here between us.
Yeah, I didn't deem it as
So
mine.
the front of it just goes through all the different actions you can take for the harvester, and all the different actions you can take with your worker. And then on the back, and it's got the free actions on the front, and on the back it's got the in-game scoring. I'm not sure what that brown section is, unless it's got something to do with solo play, because this has got a fairly significant solo game in it. The book, the gameplay actually ends on page 20, and then it goes through all of the iconography on all the tokens, which is really helpful, and all the cards, but all of it's shorthanded on the back too. So
that's helpful.
Yeah, you've got everything. They got the variants where you can play the tutorial version, the advanced game, and then adding the technology tiles. And then it goes through, if you do what they call the advanced game, everybody's got player power, so it goes through each of the characters' abilities. There's one promo character that we added on.
Wait, what was my special ability?
That
was
you had
this.
the
Oh, I didn't use this enough. Okay.
And then the solo game is actually from page 26 to the end, so it's actually a 6-page.
I wouldn't mind
rules
trying
for the
this solo because I liked it so much.
Yeah,
I think the solo would be fun.
It's actually got a really robust one. I think they've done an excellent job with this rule book. I'm going to give it a 9. I would give it a 10 if they'd given us 2 more of those cheat sheets.
Okay, so good score on that. All right, so moving on to the actual gameplay. So you have a kind of energy amount. Now you start out with 3, but over the course of the game, you could end up building up to 6. I only got 4. I don't even know how.
I got to 5.
How?
I made a lot of laps with stars.
Okay, how? But anyway, so you end up, so if you start out with 3 energy, then you have to make a couple of choices in what you're going to do. Okay, so you can take actions with your bulldozer. Some of them consist of moving. Then you can also choose to harvest trees. You can also choose to plant trees. And then you can also choose to get a white tile. I'm not sure what that's.
These whole things.
Set collection.
If it's already available on that tile, I didn't get a single one of those.
Almost filled my board.
Yep, so we know what we focused on. And then you can also choose to build a river, a way to go through the river. And then
you can build houses.
You can build houses, which I actually did a couple of those. Now, the other action is you can actually use your workers. So depending on your location of the worker, so if this was my worker, I could do these actions in this section. I can choose to move. That's one of those actions. So then I could go to another board that may have some really cool things. And then I can choose to upgrade any of these tiles by paying the cost. When I upgrade them, I put my little house, which will end up getting me victory points at the end of the game. But then when people use that tile, I get money as well. So that's really nice. And then there is also actually taking what is on the card. So, for example, this gives you a coin and a construction worker. This lets you upgrade or treat your wood in a certain way. And then this lets you...
When you move to the location, depending on how many people are already there, you get the bonus just for moving there.
Oh, cool. And you can upgrade this.
No, it's flippable. You
Oh,
can
just
side
flippable.
by side.
Cool. All right, so that is the different actions. There are some free actions that you can take, like upgrading your where your basically storage location for the trees that you have harvested. So yeah. Overall, I actually really like this game. I am sad we tried to play it so late at night because it is actually a pretty easy catch, and it is actually a pretty quick game if you don't get a lot of interruptions. Yeah, I actually kind of liked it. For me, overall score-wise, I almost wish I could play it again before I scored it. I'll give it an 8.5 right now. I really liked it. I don't like the fact how much Randy beat me, though.
Well, it's a low-scoring game. So, I mean, granted, he beat me by 11, and you were 11 behind me, so Randy won by 22 points.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
And that's a lot for this.
Well, and caveat, this was his second playthrough. This was my first, and I was half asleep when he explained the rules. And by half asleep, I literally think I fell asleep sitting here.
Yeah, we played the tutorial version the first time, and it actually is one round longer than the base game, but it also has a lot less choices to make. And that game, I played a totally different strategy. I think I got second. I think Alan's contracts won the game. But
I did contracts completely this round, and I did not get it. However, I was one action shy of getting this card completed, and I wonder if this would have made a difference. This was 10 points, so I might have been able to get 11, so I would have tied with you if I had that one more action. And I was actually only one coin away from buying that action, so I wasn't too far off if I think it in those terms. I literally was a coin off.
But like any really good worker placement type of game or Euro game, that's the tension. Is what I'm going to do with the limited amount of actions that I got.
I didn't realize how short this game was, though.
And I think that's why I like it so much. Is just you really have to weigh, what am I going to do? What's the most advantageous thing I could do? And there's a lot of tension to that.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways to choose to play the game to score points, and I like that. It's not point salad, I wouldn't say, because you can't do all the things. You have to focus. But, I think you're better off focusing on 2 or 3 of those versus spreading yourself across all of them, because otherwise you get low points. And I think that's what your challenge was, because you got 2 points here, 2 points there, and
Well, and I think the thing is I was focusing on the contracts and just doing stuff as I went when I shouldn't have done that because there's so few available, like there's so few turns and actions. I maybe should have conserved more because I've been like, I could do this thing real quick and I'll just do this thing.
I think like maybe for yours, I think it'd have been, contracts would have been fine, but I wouldn't have done the big ones. I would have focused on smaller ones so you could have flipped these more often.
Right.
And then... Because her ability is really neat, that if she flips all 5 of her wood types, and then she can, as a free action, flip them back over, she gets 6 victory points. So if you really focused on just little contracts and flipped one tree instead of trying to do all 4 trees, you'd have gone through them a lot quicker, and then I think you could have done that a lot more.
Yeah. So, and
Which
again,
is a really neat power. I think that's really neat.
I mean, again, it's just something that,
something you learn.
Something that we learned while playing it.
Yeah.
You gave...
I think I'm giving this one a 9. I really enjoyed it the first time I with the base game, and I enjoyed it just as much, if not more, with the add-ons. In this case, I didn't feel like anybody's player power was that significantly more powerful than the others. I could only use mine a handful of times, so that was a limitation, but it felt like they were significantly useful powers that I had. And you were getting your tokens coming up and getting to play them on your board, getting your abilities, and then you had you could trigger that whenever you filled contracts. So it kind of drove your strategy a little bit.
And there was one other one we didn't play with.
Yeah, well, there's 2 because there's the promo as well. So I've enjoyed this immensely, and it was like a last minute for this year. So it really is going to be a hard decision for me on the top 10 for that's coming up very shortly.
Yeah.
So, what do you think, Rob?
I'm a 9 too. I really, really liked it. And I think that if I hadn't already created my top 10, this would have gone on my top 10 for the year. I really, really like this game. It's really, really good.
Yeah.
I'm tempted to buy it myself.
Yeah. So, guys, well, you heard us. Forestry is definitely a solid game that you
It's a keeper.
Yeah, you might want to have to go look it up, see if it suits you. Well, guys, we'll catch you guys later. Bye.